My name is Joan Kabugu. I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker, I'm a producer, and most importantly, I'm the founder of Ecila Films, and we create authentic African content. Our goal is to create content that transform communities and use content to start important dialogue. And as much as we want to, make people laugh using comedy, we also want to, talk about serious issues and elevate our society. I grew up along Thika Road, and Thika Road is special because I know Thika Road when it was 2 lanes. And when they said it was going to be 8 lanes, I was like, hi, how? So I've grown up on Thika Road, schooled on Thika Road for my primary, and then high school, I just moved a county, went to Thika. And I'd say my childhood was one. I was an introvert for a long time. Even now, I don't know. I'm in film, but I'm still an introvert. I think that is maybe something which is special about me, which some people see as something which is not, it blocks your way. But in my introvertness, I found reading. I was those kids who would be reading Nancy Drew. I don't know if you know those books, Hardy Boys, Grade 7. I'm reading them under the table as the teacher is teaching math. And I found I really loved, I think the reading gave birth to the writing. And small things like my compositions were always the best. And English was my favorite subject, so was Kiswahili. Right now it's a bit wanting because when I go out and I'm doing interviews, in the village with people in Swahili, you think I'm from Sijui Wapi, Academy of Schools, but I really loved Swahili and English, the languages. And my schooling, I think, typically your parents want you to do what is marketable. And when I was going to college after primary and high school, what was marketable was doing social sciences and working in NGOs. And as much as I put up a case that I want to do literal studies, they were like, we don't even get what kind of job you'll get with that. And because I'm an obedient, daughter, I was like, all right, you know better, I'll do that. And I did sociology, and my specialty was sociology and political science. And as much as people say that, what you did in college is not what you're doing now, I feel that has fed a lot, even in the way I approach storytelling and how I am a storyteller, that my sociology and political science always grounds me, that sometimes I want, to make people laugh, but I find comedy a very hard genre. Though nimejaribu kidogo, but I find myself going a little bit into deeper issues and deeper themes, and maybe using comedy to communicate these deeper themes. My passion and purpose. So my passion would be storytelling, and very specifically writing. I feel those are some of the gifts that God has given me, and I'm happy that every time a story starts, I'm always there. As a writer, I'm always there. And sometimes along the journey, the writing was always my number one. And it always felt sad when someone would be like, you write, what else do you do? It doesn't feel as if it's a full career. And for me, it's still my number one. And I'm blessed because I meet the story very early, and I have the power and privilege to curate the story in a certain way and in a certain direction. So I'd say my passion is storytelling via writing. That is my number one passion. Yeah. And when it comes to purpose, I feel stories have the power to create, to make a society great. And when we tap and dig deep into the stories that we have let's just start as a country before even we go to continent. I think we'll see that Kenya is great, and we'll go beyond and be like, Africa is great. And I'm reminded of last year I took part in a series called Africa Direct, courtesy of Al Jazeera, and my story was in there, but I really enjoyed watching stories from Mali, from Ethiopia, from all sorts of places in Africa, and stories which tap to the culture of the society, to the urban life of the society, and I feel they demystify Africa, and I feel stories at the end of the day are our essence. Like, people out there are able to understand Christine in Kenya because of the stories that they've been able to see. At Ecila Films, we specialize a lot in stories about women and also teens. And for me personally, as Joan, it's because at some point I felt that I could not see enough women in stories. Even when I see those blockbuster movies, growing up it was always, the male hero. And even when I did the first short film, I found a lady chief, and I was like, this is my heroine. And I feel it's because I also want to inspire young girls that, you can see yourself, because when you see yourself in story, you relate. And for me, storytelling and content does two things. It inspires you and it gives you something to aspire to. And I feel that gap of not seeing enough female lead roles is what, drew me to writing more. I balance nowadays because, sikwe na too much empowerment, but I really gravitate towards, storytelling and featuring women. And when it comes to teens, definitely I'm past my teen years, and I feel teenhood is a place where there's a lot of confusion and a lot of misunderstanding, and sometimes people don't understand teens, and maybe they don't take time to understand. And so when I get an opportunity, I really try and tell the story from the perspective of a young person, even when I'm talking about the big issue. Being a woman leader, I'd say is humbling, is very humbling. And starting Ecila, when I started it with maybe, I'd say, selfish motives. Like, I felt being a freelancer was not getting me enough money, and I was like, all right, a company, at least I won't be locked out. But now, this is 8 years later, I feel as a woman leader, I'm able to do things differently. Like, we currently finished working on a film, and on set, I enjoyed, like, because I've been in sets where everything is just haphazard, there's all manner of foul language, but in my set as a leader, like, I try to run things in a way where people feel comfortable, in a way where if this is your first time being on set and you're an assistant, you won't feel that, you're being, someone is looking down upon you. Like, I try and accommodate other people who are introverts, who probably they won't talk a lot on set, so people gang up on them. Like, I make sure everybody feels very comfortable. And I think as a leader, that's the one thing that I feel blessed to offer, that people who come, and you get the opportunity to work with me, feel comfortable. And I think also as a leader, some of the things that I've learned is to inspire self-leadership. That I think we are past the era of micromanaging. Like, for us to create great, powerful content, everybody needs to be a leader in their right. If I'm working with a cinematographer, they are a leader in their right. Someone who's doing lighting, they are a leader in their right. So when we bring our aura of leadership together, we can only create magic. The challenge when maybe I faced when I was starting writing, especially now in TV and film, because I used to even write for, say, The Standard, and even when I started writing for Midiva, it was a safe space. But now when I went out to write for, like, the first TV series, I had to be in a writing room. And remember, I'm an introvert, and this is my first writing room. So I found a space which was not very accommodative. Like, I didn't find nurturing. I didn't find support. And maybe I was, in my early 20s, and I didn't seem like much, but I feel that is something I I would hope other people do differently. And even for me, like in the writing rooms that I'd create, always take account of that young person who does not know what they are doing, or even when they're giving ideas, they don't know what they're saying, because that is the place where you either elevate them or crush their dream. And I'm glad that, even though I faced a lot of opposition, because maybe I could not articulate my ideas so well or so loudly, I'm happy that I was able to come out a bit stronger. Another challenge with, say, Ecila is growth and trajectory. Running a film company, you don't have like a tangible product. Even when you're doing documentaries, your products are not like selling shoes. And I love good shoes, but it's slightly different. It has a longer process. The rate of conversion is not immediate. So making it profitable, you have to jump a couple of loops and hoops. I'll talk to that introvert because I know her, I've met her, I'm still her many times, but my biggest advice to them would be like, start. Find a way to start. Find people, other introverts maybe. If you're a writer, find an introvert camera operator. Do something, start. Because the thing with being in the space where you're creating content, you have to constantly create. People have to see you believe in yourself first before they believe in you. And believing in yourself is asking your mom for 10,000 to go do that small documentary in your, back in Shags, in your village, and, showcase that to the world. And I feel we underrate the power of just starting. And during some of my fellowships over time, there's one called a Coma Fellowship, which the person taking us through used to say, creators create and posers pose. And I feel I've taken that, I think maybe the last 5 years, is if there's no money to do something and I really am passionate to do this story, I'll really go out of my way and even dig into my pocket and do that project. Because yes, it's the project to my audience and to the world, but it's also one that will grow me and build me. So to the introvert, start, go out and create. And to start with, I'm part of the Young African Leaders Initiative, YALI. And for me, being there is learning from other Kenyans from different places, from Makueni, from Mombasa, from just across Kenya, and knowing what they are doing with their time and how they are impacting their society. And for me as a storyteller, that just makes me very vibrant in terms of creating stories. And very closely connected to that is the Obama Foundation. I'm a 2018 Obama Foundation leader. And I remember when I got selected for that, they were looking for people who are doing great things, but they've not been elevated. They've not been known yet. And being in a space where I met 200 Africans, some politicians, some change leaders, thought leaders, it was like, what is the word? Like, Joan, you and Ecila, that is not it. Hujafika bado. Like, you have a very long way to go. And as you go that long way, you need to figure out how do you increase the impact from your small community to your country and to your continent. For me, success translates to impact. Success translates to doing work which goes beyond you. And it's as simple as being able to work with other people, being able to help them achieve their dreams, being able to elevate their careers. And I feel strongly that when success goes beyond you and covers other people, that is the ultimate success. And how you get there, especially when it comes to goal setting, I feel it's very important to break down your goals into small, tiny bits. And when you're able to achieve and knock off that small bit, one at a go, like I feel that is how to get to success. Because success is not a one-day affair. You wake up, you're successful, you have a team of 30 people, you're doing 30 projects. I think it's each project at a time, and you elevating. Because I read this quote kitambo that your next success, your next progress is determined by your previous success. So you have to constantly raise the bar. So mentorship, probably maybe very current. Last year, I was part of the Stanchart Women in Tech program, and I was blessed to have like very diverse mentors. And I had two mentors. One was a mentor specifically for business, and they were more like a coach. And in that year, because I was trying out new things, they were really hardcore on me that, Joan, this is not bringing results, drop it, try this one. And they would really grill me. And I feel you need a mentor like that, a mentor who's knowledgeable about what you're doing, and they're able to see, some of the holes in your plans, some of the holes in your strategy, and they're able to redirect you back to the right path. So still in the same program, I had another mentor who was a banker. And for her, I think it was now inspirational that, like, Joanne, go, like, I know you've been disappointed the last 2 months, but, keep the energy. And that mentor was not as tough as the first one, but they were very homely and nurturing. And, when I've had a rough day with mentor one, day 3, at least the other mentor would really encourage me. And I feel that is what I'd advise young people. Have different mentors. Not to say have 10 mentors, have at least 2 or 3. Someone who can be within even your social circles, but understands you and your personality. And even when you're going through rough patches in business or even in personal life, you can share with them. And then have a mentor, especially in business or career, who knows your trajectory, knows your potential, and they're not afraid to tell you the truth. I think my highlights have to be when I've been blessed to do a project which I have no idea about. And the first one would be in 2011 when I did my first short film. And it was interesting because, yes, I was in Midiva doing camera work, but when my story was given a grant, I was like, all right, I'm the writer, director, producer. From camera operator, 0 experience in film, I'm thrown in the deep end. And I remember people really coming to support me to do this beautiful story. And that's where it started, and it will always be a highlight, because I think if I never got that ability to do that project, I wouldn't have believed in myself to take through other projects to the end. And that project, helped me to see the world. I went to film festivals across Africa, Zanzibar, Egypt, South Africa, and it was an interesting time in my life to understand African storytelling and meet other African storytellers. So that was a big highlight. And another film highlight has to be Marikiti Women. Marikiti Women was a big highlight because it was my first feature film. I think we had a crew of over 20 or maybe 30 people, and the same scenario. I was the writer, director, and then we were 2 producers. So it was a nice journey, like being able to tell a story that big, and then it was somewhat inspired by my mom. So it was very, very special. So that was another highlight. And maybe a third highlight was just, being selected for the Obama Foundation Fellowship. Like I felt, sometimes you're thinking you're too small until something like that happens and you feel, okay, someone is seeing me. And, it creates visibility and it takes you also to the next level. So yeah, and I think it wouldn't be complete if I don't talk about last year, Women in Tech, when I won the award. It was very competitive. We were 5 businesses and 10 businesses, and they were selecting 5. And I think pitching what Ecila Films does was, I didn't listen to the other pitches because we were not privy, but I felt it was so hard. It had so much grill, and I feel content sometimes is very hard to sell to investors. And I hope in coming days it will change. In following the pandemic, things were not different, and were not the same, and they've not, really, I don't think things will ever be the same again. Like now we just move with a new wave and new way of doing things. And during Women in Tech, I came up with an idea, a new product, that what else can Ecila Films do, other than documentaries, short film, feature films. And we say that we want to do stories for entrepreneurs. So we're calling it Storytelling for Entrepreneurs. And that is the idea that, won the big Stanchart grant. And for that idea is, I'm saying, because I've been in business for a couple of years and I've struggled with marketing and branding and PR, I'm saying at least from a film video perspective, I can be the plug. I can be the person who comes in and helps you tell your story. Can be the one, help you bring that concept to the world through video. And I feel that is the one thing which I'm doing differently. And such a product is definitely an affordable product. And it means that at Ecila Films, we have work every month. And yes, we get the grants from the big organizations, but we interact with our fellow entrepreneurs and we help them, we assist them in their journey of branding and marketing by storytelling. So I'd say that is the one thing that I'm doing, which I believe will keep me relevant and our team relevant for years to come. Every time you hear a no, pick yourself up very fast. Go look for the next no. And hopefully by the time you're at 5 no's, you get to a yes. Yeah, like I'd say, sometimes we give up too easily, and we give up right before you get to that good thing that is on, at the edge of number 5. So don't let rejection get you down as much as, it can. Find ways to pick yourself up fast, because when you're down, sometimes you can get beaten hard and take so long to come up. So I'd tell, not to focus on the rejections. Keep in motion.